Everyone, Magic Official here, and today I'm coming at you guys with a giant review. Reason I'm calling this giant review is because this is a giant device. This is the Nintendo 3DS XL by Nintendo, which was released after the original Nintendo 3DS, and if you live in Japan, it's known as the 3DS LL over there. Now, this is basically the Nintendo 3DS, but increased by almost double. The displays are about 90% larger than the original 3DS. To put them next to each other, in height they're about exactly the same. But you open them up and look at the screens. This screen looks so tiny compared to this huge thing. It looks enormous. But well, let's see. The buttons are exactly the same size as the original DS, so is the joystick. Very comfortable, well-built materials. The buttons are exactly the same. Power buttons almost exactly the same, except now it's more flush. The microphone is still right there, still small as the original 3DS's was. And except here, instead of being more blended buttons like they are on the 3DS, each are hard individual buttons, which I kind of like more than the 3DS's actually. I feel sometimes like I don't want to push too hard on these, whereas these can take punishment. L and R are pretty much, they feel exactly the same as they do on the original 3DS. The cartridge slot, exactly the same as on the original 3DS. There's Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. I will be reviewing that. Same thing as the original 3DS. Nub right here, so you can't put it into the normal DS slot. But it is backwards compatible with Nintendo DS games. And as you can tell from the footprint of the back of the device, this thing is big. Is it still pocketable though? Yes, it actually is. It fits in your pocket pretty darn well, actually, if you have big pockets. I'd say it's about the size of carrying around a Galaxy Note 3, maybe. Whereas the Nintendo 3DS XL is like about carrying around an iPhone. So, there is some difference in pocket sizing. But the real difference is once you open it. I mean, put them next to each other, completely open. And you can see how much taller the 3DS XL is compared to the normal DS in terms of height. Now, what about the screens? Because if they're giant, they must be improved, right? Well, that depends. I would get into the software, but I'm not really going to get into the software. It's exactly the same as the Nintendo 3DS. If you want to see me talk about software, watch my 3DS review. That will be linked in the description below. I'll probably have an annotation for it somewhere too, but my 3DS review is going to go over software, so I'm not going to go over the UI. It's the exact same thing, all that stuff. But one thing that I do notice with this 3DS is, another hardware difference between them before I get into all that, is that the stylus is on the side. Much more comfortable than the Nintendo 3DS's, where the stylus is up here at the top. Instead, this one's on the side, and it's a much larger stylus rather than this one, which is a small stylus, but it does extend. And they do it, actually, the extended stylus is longer, but with the stylus in the 3DS, you don't have to worry about extending it. You just pull it out, it's full length, it's there. And the 3D slider on the 3DS, let me see, on the 3DS, it just slides up and down, up and down, up and down, easy. Whereas here, it actually has a lock on off if you want to keep it off. And then if you lift it up, it still slides around. But if you want to keep it off, it locks on off, which that I actually like. Now, let's talk about the displays. Color representation is actually better on the original 3DS. Are the colors bad on the 3DS XL? No. But they are a little bit washed out when you compare them to the original 3DS's display. For instance, if we go to download play and you look at them side by side, you can probably barely tell in the camera, but in person you can tell that the colors are definitely a lot more vivid on the original 3DS. The colors do look more washed out on the XL. And another thing is pixelation. Now, neither of these displays have retinal quality displays or high definition displays, which means on both of them you will see pixels. But since this one's larger and it keeps the same resolution as the 3DS, the 3DS XL is larger and keeps the same resolution as the normal 3DS, then you do see more pixels on the 3DS. So what the 3DS XL is going to come down to, if you're going to choose it, is what do you need more? Quality or quantity? Do you want to see more of a game, or do you want to see the game sharper? Do you want to see the game clearer? And the 3D effect, which one is it more effective on? That is actually a mixed bag. The 3D effect seems much deeper on the 3DS XL because it is so big. But at the same time, the sides, that's in the middle, but the sides do look way more blurry when 3D is on, because you have to see a lot more. There's a lot more on the display, and it's hard to keep yourself centered. If you're centered on one area, like I am right here, you see right here it's really blurry. Or right here, if I center it, you see blurriness in the middle. Wherever you are, of course, if you move out of the center on either system, you're going to see blurriness. But this one, even if you're dead center, you're going to see blurriness on the sides. Whereas this one, if you're dead center, you won't see any blurriness anywhere on the screen because there's less to look at. So, but since this is bigger, the parts that are 3D, when you're looking at the 3D, do seem to come further off the display. So in Mario 3D Land, and also this one is more prone to headaches because of the 3D feature, because it is more intense, I guess you could say. Like with 3D Land, I could probably play on I've played the whole game of 3D Land on my 3DS with 3D on the whole time, and I never got a headache once. I've played for up to 3 hours on my 3DS and I never got a headache. Whereas on this one, I was playing Mario Party Island Tour, which I'll also review, with 3D on, and I had to turn it off after 15 minutes because I just couldn't take it. It was a headache. So, which one of the two is better? That depends on what you need more of. Do you need more of the system? Then this one. Do you need more portability? This one. Do you need it to be clear? Go for the 3DS. If you need it to be more portable, go for the 3DS. But if you like having a giant screen and you like having like a mini television in your pocket, go for the 3DS XL. Also, the XL works very well in sharing with friends. If you're going to be playing a game and friends want to peek over your shoulder, obviously there's way more screen real estate. They'll be able to see more on your screen, whereas here, you're probably going to be wanting to play on your own. You're probably not going to want to be sharing with your friends your 3DS and passing it around. Let's see, what else is there to go over? Software, I already went over. It's exactly the same. It's identical. Same thing as with this one. Try to buy one. Try to buy a 3DS XL if you're going to go for the XL. Try to buy one with a game built in. This one, as you can see, that's the Triforce thing. Here's Triforce, but this one's a decal. This one's built onto the system. This one's actually painted by Nintendo. There's the Triforce all over the place. This is the Link Between Worlds one, which is a great game. If you're going to get a 3DS XL, you can't go wrong with this one. But try to get one, even if you don't like Zelda or Link Between Worlds, go for the Pokemon one. Go for one with a game built in. That way, you get an SD card built right into your system, which I forget sometimes where the SD card slot is on the XL. There it is. On the XL, the SD card is harder to find. But yeah, there it is, and there's an SD card in there. This one came with a 4 GB card with the XL built, because Link Between Worlds was built in, so it was built onto the SD card. So if you buy it without a pre-downloaded game on it, you won't get an SD card in the console. But if you do, you will get an SD card, so I always recommend going for it. So 3DS XL, final impressions, final roundup. Like I said, it's going to be what you need most. Do you need the larger screens? Then hey, this is great. Do you need better quality in your games? Go with this one. Do you want deeper but blurrier 3D? This one. Do you want more comfortable 3D but smaller? This one. Basically everything the same, but this one's smaller and clear. This one's bigger. And I don't know what else to say to that. Okay. But you can't go wrong with either one. They're both really good systems. So that has been Magic Official. And stay tuned for my other reviews. If you want to see my original 3DS review where I cover the software, which I didn't cover in this one, the link will be down below. I'm also reviewing my Game Boy Advance SP. I'm reviewing Nintendo DS Lite. All kinds of other systems are going to be coming. I'm going to have a Wii review. Yes, I know I'm late to all these reviews, okay? I know the Wii came out years ago, but hey, I'm going to try to review everything I own. I may even review my PS3, even though the PS4 is out. I'm gonna start reviewing PS4 games, DS games, 3DS games, Game Boy games, Wii games, Nintendo 64 games, Super Nintendo games, all these games, PC games, everything. Yeah, I don't care if it's old or new, I love gaming. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of that's coming up. My name has been Magic Official. I am out. Peace.